One thing that I'm finding really interesting is in a market like this, in a tough market, I'm finding that we're getting our sellers focusing a lot on agents' fees. In this area, we have a lot of properties that are up in the $3-4 million mark, and we're going in against other agents that are discounting their fees all the time and focusing on their fees. How do we try to combat this whilst not focusing on fees?
It's a very good question. I don't think you need to combat anything, because to combat the thing, it means that has to be an enemy. I think we need to help people that understand things. So first of all, I see a lot of sellers making the calculation in their own head. If he's charging 3% and the other one's charging 2%, at whatever price that I'm getting, let's say $1 million, I'm actually saving myself $10,000. That is already a mistake, because that seller has made the presumption that both of them handling the same buyer will get $1 million. And that is so wrong. A buyer might come with what he thinks he will pay, but he comes to the poker table and he now has to meet a much stronger player or a weaker player. And if he's with a weaker player, yes, he's going to win the hand. He's going to do an all-in, and the weaker player is going to say, do you know what? I put my hand down. The only guy that's going to get screwed here is the seller, so I might as well just take that offer and take him. But with a stronger player, he's going to now play his hand and make him feel the fear of loss. I use a lot of analogy, Simon, and this is how I see what sellers do every single day. Mistakes happen by 1,000. It's the same thing when I go and buy a BMW 3 Series. Well, if I can go to him or I can go to him, it makes sense to negotiate with the one that's the cheapest. But not when it comes to houses. Why? You now have a hard operation. Do you pick a surgeon because he's cheap? Or do you pick a surgeon because he can do the job? If he can do the job and he ends up being the most expensive, what do you do? Now some people may say, oh well, I still pick him. Okay, let's go further then. Your child needs an operation. Do you go to a doctor and choose a doctor because you like him? Do you pick a doctor because he charges less? Because I can tell you now, your child's in danger. Grave danger. And so what we don't understand is sometimes to get a house for $2 or $4 million, these people have saved for 4 or 5 years to get a deposit. Picking a wrong agent is like blowing those 4 or 5 years of saying, we're not going to go on holiday, we're not going to go to the restaurant, we're saving. That would be just blowing it away in one wrong decision. This is why I truly see sellers being taken advantage every single day because of that belief. Therefore, what does a wrong agent do? He realized that a seller wants 2 things. He wants to hear top price, because top price means Santa Claus coming a few times a year, and this time it's going to come for you. And a cheaper fee, because cheaper fee means more in my pocket. And I am willing to sit down, and I've done enough maths. You know that with my father, I've done enough maths in my life. I am willing to sit down with anyone and show them that the way they're thinking is impossible to solve. Mathematically, it's like solving an equation with 2 variables. It is not possible. And the 2 variables being the price you're going to get and the fee. You only have 1 variable, right? The fee is your variable that you can see. And then, but the other one, you can't even see it.
No.
Am I making sense?
It's a movable.
And this is why. So why is it sometimes that the cheaper agents get a job? Because the seller goes through 2 things when they select an agent. Do I like him? Is he cheap? And they are 2 mistakes. Really, if you're going to be a serious seller and you're really going to be careful about your money, contact people who have got their house on the market with the agent. And ask them, how are you being looked after? Contact them and say, hey, listen, I'm about to make a big decision here that could mean a difference between $100,000 to $200,000 loss. Can you just tell me, are they over-promising and under-delivering? A friend of mine, he tried to sell a house for someone, and he got an offer for 1.2 mil. And they didn't want it, and they kept on rejecting his 1.2 mil. They wanted 1.25 or whatever it is. My friend lost the listing, went to his competition, And today they can't even get 1 million. That's 2 months down the road.
Yes, we're seeing that a lot now.
Fees should never be the reason you pick an agent.
Yes.
The skill should be, just like the surgeon. This subject, I'm very emotional about it and passionate about it because I know how hard mum and dad these days have to go to work in order to save $1,000 a year.
Absolutely.
This is what I ask a lot of people. If you were a Formula One team owner, who do you put in the car?
The fastest driver.
Or the cheapest guy? Let's imagine you have to win. You have to win. You have to win. I'm not saying you have to participate, right?
Yeah.
Who do you put in?
The fastest driver.
But he's going to ask you for a lot of money.
The fastest driver. If you need to win, you need the fastest driver.
Take anything else. If you were to take your family and maybe your biggest asset on a boat and go from here to New Zealand, who do you take? The cheapest sailor or the guy that will get you there safe? But when it comes to selling a house, why do you people think it's different? To me, our job, and this is why I love our job so much, is that our job is to get our owners from wherever they are here in Sydney to maybe New Zealand safe. Safe meaning making sure that their hard-earned money is not gone to waste.